I like to lurk in men's spaces. I like to go into men's spaces and see what they are talking about because I do believe that women need to know and understand what they are saying. These are public spaces. It's not like some places where you need like passwords or anything. Now, periodically, I do get tagged into spaces and I might respond back. And I do actually start talking back and forth to some men. This happened yesterday in the Purple Pill debate subreddit. Anyways, let's look at what Detective Ashley McPetty, let's see what Detective McPetty uncovered this deep dive. I know this sounds weird, but Ask Indian Men popped up on my radar a couple of months ago, and I just periodically peek in. This popped up in my feed today. This man asked the question, why are there so many men simping for women in marriage? So, the very short post. Why are so many men desperate for marriage and women, while women don't seem to even care? Do these men have no self respect at all? These same men slide into women's DMs and end up embarrassing all men. Before going forward, I do want to remind us all that India has a pretty big gender imbalance with there being more men than women because of femicide. So I just want to put that out there. So there might be some men that are genuinely lonely and want some company or marriage to a woman. Also, gender based violence is deplorable in India. But let's look at a few of these comments. This person named Another Throwaway says, because they are unable to date and find women on their own, so they resort to simping on the internet hoping they can find one. And then random stories like that Seema, who came to India after finding her future husband on PUBG, gives them hope. Obviously, I don't know the goings on in India, so someone can clue me in. Now, at the bottom, this woman, Fat Amy Dieting, says the irony is that men are sliding into our DMs trying to start a conversation. And when you check their profile and comments, you see gems like no seal, no deal, don't marry women with past relationships, only marry virgins, girls shouldn't have male friends, and other purity BS. The hypocrisy is real. And the wild thing about seeing that, red pill in India is real big. Misogyny in India is real big. So you see the exact same things in the Indian men's subreddit as what you see in the other men's subreddit. That's the reason why I wanted to do some of these posts. This man right here is being real and honest. Tired Curious Soul says, there's too many lonely men out there. Loneliness epidemic. Average looking dude like me would not get approached by any girl. Then, after being single, lonely, and horny for so long, what else do you expect? Forget romantic relationships. I don't even have a platonic bond with a girl. I guess men simp for women in marriage to find someone special, and they feel if they put enough efforts, they may get a few ounces of affection back. I agree with unsolicited DM. Creepy and perverted messages are a shame, and especially Indian men have a really bad reputation online internationally. So he's being real. He's saying that he wants a connection, and then other people will say that's you're simping. This is how these men end up corrupted because they will have genuine feelings for a woman, and then they find out later that they are simping and they need to stop doing that. Okay, here's the OP down here saying many women are also lonely, but they don't behave this way. And to that, Tired Curious Soul, who said, I'm lonely, he says to him, true, but I guess they would be getting some form of attention, and even if they aren't, they can easily get it if they try. I personally want to change myself and get over this cycle, but I'm not able to. I'm a straight dude and attracted to women. OP, any idea how to break this cycle? But I refrain myself from putting unsolicited DMs or NSFW stuff in someone's DMs. So he does not want to continue to do this type of thing. He wants to change. The OP says, bring a little self-esteem and self-respect into yourself. Women are taught from childhood that they have to be equal to men. And because of that, the average woman has more self-esteem than the average man. So the fact that these men think that, that women just have all this self-esteem is interesting and funny. But anyway, that's what the OP is telling Tired Curious Soul. This is another post that I came across that was kind of interesting. This man asked, why is it that men have not been able to establish a large, unified men's only subreddit? Saying, what are some other problems, considering that they will have a strict moderation? Avara says simps and feminist women come en masse to dilute and try to destroy any movement men create for their well being and rights. Mods of men related subs need to have tougher standards of filtration to keep such people out, just like women subs do. And then the OP says, suggest us a subreddit name. I guess it's time to make a new cool sub. Anyone here? I'll come back to Dry Corgi Man because he repeats that same comment in a moment. Control A Shift Delete says most of them are international ones. Indian men come online to simp for women and fight against their own interests until they get hit by a truck, so it's not possible here. So they are really acting like Indian men don't have a lot of rights, which is very interesting to me. And to that, Dry Corgi, I told you he would be coming back with the same comment saying, to be honest, speaking up for women of your own country is not simping. My own mother, sister, etc. are all women, and most of us aren't delulu to dream of simping on faceless and nameless redditors. If you think so, you're not using much of your head. Here is a woman at the bottom. They use simp as a way to defame good men so that they back off, and then all of these pathetic men who want patriarchy can do what they want. So I really want to keep it mostly to what the men are saying because it's so interesting. These dudes are such victims. We got Last Wave saying, because mods of men related subs are spineless clowns. We got Hash saying most gay subreddits are exactly that. Weird Expression says men are divided because of caste, religion, and regional politics. That's why. Also, simps. They really got something against simps. It's so interesting to see that in this Indian man subreddit. I went into this men's rights subreddit and saw this post from a few days ago. It says examples of Reddit's censorship. And then we get this picture right here. On the banned side, anti-feminism, against women's rights, ban male hate subs, MGTOW, male dating strategy. All of these are banned. And then all of these are allowed. Feminism, against men's rights, ban female hate subs, allowed. Allowed 4B movement, allowed female dating strategy. So all of these female subreddits are allowed, and they are irritated that these other subs are banned, like anti-feminism and MGTOW. The moderator joins in. It says Reddit doesn't ban subs based on the topic. It bans subs based on the behaviors of moderators. If content breaks Reddit rules, goes unmoderated, the subreddit will be banned. Don't want subs to be banned? Follow the rules. Don't like that? You don't need to be here. Reddit is a privately owned company. There is no obligation to freedom of speech. And that is a moderator saying that they're not just banning things because something is a man sub and something is a female sub. So just know that. The Fooper says none of this makes any sense but to ban male dating strategy. And then Shinga Lades says pure blatant misandry. And then I Am the Constitution is wondering, is the men's rights subreddit next? And ADJ says, hello, that's effectively already happened. I've been notified by mainstream subs that I've been banned solely because I participated in men's rights. They identified that I had to delete any and all comments in the men's rights to be able to post or to remove the ban. And I will tell you that I have actually been banned from Ask Men. I found that out yesterday, but that's my fault. I shouldn't have even tried to comment in the Ask Men's subreddit because I'm obviously not a man. But I just put that out there. Sometimes people do get banned. Women get banned from men's subs and men get banned from the women's subs. It happens. Lead the Legend says, against men's rights exist as a sub. So basically, even though we are human, we don't deserve basic human rights. F off. And then Rain Farm says, check their subreddit. It seems they made it specifically to target this sub, not men's rights. It still doesn't make them right. Red Pill Aussie says, what do you expect when the people running Reddit are misandrous themselves? This was in the men's rights subreddit. Why have we normalized the idea of a girl slapping a guy in movies, shows, and even real life when if it were reversed, it would be seen as completely unacceptable? Isn't that just as derogatory? The funny thing about this is men are typically the ones that are writing movies and shows. Women just started doing this. The violence that people see in movies and shows is because of men writers, but they don't ask these questions. They just think it's a societal issue. Women are not the ones that are sitting up here imagining all of this violence, but they are the real victims. Men are. Medical Reindeer says if you are a man, you can't even yell at a girl, but a girl can slap you, hit you, throw slurs at you, and if you do even the slightest thing, you will be the bad person. Young Coyote says 100% true about yelling. She could have run over your cat. They don't care about the evidence of or facts. You will not get an an inch of sympathy in today's society if you even get slightly angry or upset in public. Woman yells equals she's just defending herself. Men yells he's instantly abusive and has anger issues. Believe, defend, stand with other men. Educate men and women. Male emotion is not a crime. These people are such victims. I Need the Peaches says the example of running over a cat says a lot. So basically, a woman can get away with things compared to a man, even if it's an outright evil thing. So they create the scenarios and then they make opinions based on a fictional scenario. And they are getting upset about men, typically men writers, writing slapping into the movies and shows, and then they get mad at that. Okay, the Nittany Lion King says, I'd also like to point out there's a common misandrous line that gets thrown around when a man and woman start dating. People will always say, oh, you finally found a woman to keep you in line. Why does a man need to be kept in line? If he's in a serious relationship, then he probably was keeping himself in line with rigid routines and healthy behaviors. It pretty much just reinforces the idea that men don't have autonomy. They don't, and exist as wage slaves to make women happy. People would blow a gasket if anyone said it's a good thing she found a man to keep her in line. People always think that women are supposed to submit and let a man lead. Like, they live in topsy-turvy world. All right, Never Pretending says, even without it, it will be assumed you deserve it, LOL. Now, Victoria at the bottom says, Dynasty, 80s, rich women slapping men, but also each other in the face. Nobody now thinks it's okay to hit a man. Yell slurs, nobody normal. She got downvoted. I gave her an upvote just because, but this woman is weighing in the men's rights subreddit, and obviously she's saying nobody thinks that this is normal anymore, and they had to downvote her because they need to be the victims. I talked about this slightly yesterday, but I didn't show y'all the comments that I really got into in the Purple Pill debate subreddit. This is a mixed gender subreddit. So yesterday, this man asked the question, would you like to exchange your wife or girlfriend for a new younger one? It says, this is the question for the red pill. It says, but you can't have them both, so you have to choose. Please share what you truly wish for. If it's possible for you to easily get a new girlfriend whenever you want and whoever you want, would you like to exchange your wife or girlfriend for a newer, prettier one who is young and her body is not damaged by age and pregnancy? So just the question is out of control, but damaged by age. So women are not supposed to change. We change because we're human, but that's the question, right? So Baba Zuki says, no, I've been confused how women get so insecure about this concept and can't seem to grasp the concept of emotional investment. I'll try to explain. Men don't pick their partners the way someone picks an iPhone. People like the newest one and the best, and when it gets out of date, they swap it in for the newest one. Men don't do that. Men pick their partners the way people pick a pet dog. A younger one is best because you'll have time with it and have fun. But when your dog gets old and slow, you don't just swap it in. You spend so much time together, and then you'll still love your dog because you've emotionally invested in each other. When it dies, you might look for another dog and again prefer a young one and repeat. In summary, women are more like dogs than they are like iPhones. So just keep that in mind. Women are more like dogs. I'm sorry, I cut myself off. These people are amazing. Vegan Babe says, someone told me I was expired because I'm 24. Women are constantly told their value decreases with every second, so it's not like we have no reason to think men would drop them in a heartbeat for a younger woman. And then Seemed Good, a red pill man says, your value on the open market declines with age for essentially the same reason that Baba Azuki suggested in his analogy, that when you bring a new dog into your life, it's optimal to start forming that relationship when the dog is 8 to 10 weeks old, maybe 12 at a stretch. Translated to women, that's 20 to 25. But a woman's value in a relationship increases substantially as she matures out of pure solipsism into the true fullness of womanhood. A snowfall of cherries says, wow, so women need to be trained at a young age to be subservient pets. And you have to get them young so they will mold to you. And so this is where I came in because I was tagged in here. I didn't just go to this sub. I said, this is why women would do best to disregard them. They don't see us as human. Once I figured out their opinions were worthless, my life changed. And I was like, thank you for tagging me in this ridiculousness. Now, because I said that, that gave men, they started descending on me because I made a comment, even though I was commenting because I was tagged right here. So, Seemed Good, the red pill man said, I made no such assertion. And I was like, yeah, but you're using a pet to compare women. Y'all are talking about training women. Dude above you started with the dog analogy and you continued it. It's fine, I can read, and I'm glad y'all speak this in public so women can know. And then women can decide if they need to be trained like a dog to find one of your kind. And so then this man, supposedly a purple pill man, his name is Precision Hat, says, Jesus effing Christ, it's just an analogy. Puppies are cuter than old dogs. But the owners don't kick the old dog who stuck by them loyally over the years out the second they have a chance to get a new puppy. They still just won't stop talking about us like we're dogs or pets. It's more or less the same with women. Most men don't just throw away their loyal, loving partners because they have the chance to trade up. And that doesn't affect the idea of women losing value in the dating market with age. That still happens to a degree. But that's when they are being courted, not after they have built a life with the man in question already and formed a bond and strong attachments. So you just have to be like a dog, be loyal and find an attachment. So you see, you get it. I'm just the one that's getting it wrong. I'm like, I already know what an analogy is, and women are always compared to some non human. I get it. We've always been things to obtain, use, then discard. There are enough cliches available to recognize what we're compared to. And I listen to men and share y'all's words with other women. And yes, y'all do throw away women. On top of listening to men, on top of listening to men, I listen to and share women's stories. Oh, I don't need to share all of the things that I'm saying. Y'all can read what I said. Let's look at how the next man responds to me. Seemed Good said that I really don't know what an analogy is. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Regardless, I'll just share what y'all are saying. Get them young and train them because y'all need to train us like a dog, a young one that's 8 to 12 months. I got it. Thanks. And that he just wanted me to make sure to just share their words. Don't go interpreting. I'm like, I'm not going to paraphrase anything. I said, quote, no, I'm sorry. He said, quote us entirely. Quote the link to the thread. So if you want to see the whole link to the thread, it is there. Would you like to exchange your wife or girlfriend? And I'm putting their words out there. I don't think that I misinterpreted them. They put that out there and they really think that they are using that in such a way that is amazing. Y'all let me know though. And I'm going to end it there. There's so many of these subs. They really don't like women. They see us as things to obtain. And I personally don't like this. But I'm just sharing what these red pillars are saying about us women folks. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and share. Make sure you share with the women in your life how these dudes talk about us so that they can see the red flags and avoid these people.